Joyce Giraud. Giraud?
Yes.
And former Miss Puerto Rico, mother, wife, and was on the Real Housewives is probably the best way you know her. But a lot of people watched I can't say it in Spanish, but the Rich and Famous Latina
Rica
show.
Famosa. Rica Famosa.
Yes. So, because we got lots of questions, but we were first introduced to you on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, let's just get into how that even came about, and then I want to go back to like Miss Puerto Rico. But how did you get on the show? Were you a fan of the show? Like, what did you even know about it?
You know what? I had seen it here and there, but I wasn't one of those religious fans that watches it all the time. It was like popcorn entertainment, if it's on, let me see these beautiful women. And we had run into each other at different events, especially at my friend Mohammed's house.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
Mohammed, who is the father of Gigi and Bella, and I mean, that's amazing.
I know. So I had run into Lisa a couple times there, but we weren't friends. We weren't close or anything.
Yes.
So the way it came about, the casting for the show, they called me for casting, and they said, listen, we just saw you. You did it. There was a piece of you in a Beverly Hills magazine, and it said, like, what to wear. I was giving advice on what to wear because I was just doing my NBC show, Siberia. I was the lead in Siberia.
So you were an actress that was cast in a scripted show.
Yes.
Okay.
I was doing Siberia. We produced, and I was the lead of the NBC Siberia.
Because your husband is a movie and television producer.
Correct. Okay. Correct. So I had done that. I had done Tyler Perry's House of Pain. I had done a bunch of stuff. So they called me and they said, listen, we really want to meet you. And they called me the year before, and I said, well, I can't. I'm filming. I'm doing Siberia. I'm busy. I can't. And then they called again. They said, listen, we really want to meet you. Can you please come in? And I went in for a meeting with, his name was Michael, adorable guy, the casting director. And I meet Michael, and I said, oh, my God, you're so sweet. I love you. I'm in love with you. And he goes, I need you to be on this show. You're going to love it. You're so fabulous. I'm such a fan, la, 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 la. And I said, well, I don't know. I'm not sure. So I leave back to Canada to film Siberia. And they call me and they say, listen.
What was Siberia about?
Siberia was a show about 12 people stranded in Siberia, filming a reality show.
Oh.
So they're filming this reality show and they're stranded in the middle of nowhere in Siberia and they're trying to survive.
What a cool idea.
It's an awesome idea.
So how long did it last? Just the one season?
The one season we did for NBC. People still call us and say, oh, my God, can you do another season of Siberia? Can you please do more? So we're considering, actually, because a lot of people are asking for it.
And everything is able to come back.
Everybody's asking for it. So we're saying, okay, maybe we need to bring back Siberia. Right. There's even a hashtag, bring back Siberia, please come back. So we're in the middle of talking about that. But I was back in Canada filming Siberia, and they call again and they say, listen, can you? And I said, guys, I'm filming. No, the answer is no, I'm filming. What are you doing after you finish your show Siberia? I said, well, nothing. I'm going to be free for a little bit. Oh, that's wonderful because, we would film after you finish with Siberia. And I said, okay, then maybe, when I'm back in LA, I'm back in 2 weeks, just for a couple days. When I'm back, we can meet. And then I met the producers. Fell in love with Doug, who's one of the producers. And I said, oh, my God, he's amazing. They're not going to screw me over. I love him. So then I said yes. And that's how it all started. Little did I know, naive me doing real reality shows instead of the NBC one.
Oh, my gosh. And so, did you guys, in deciding to do it, what was your reasons to do it? Like the exposure, because you thought it would be fun. I mean, what was...
The reason why I did it is because everyone that I spoke with about it said, this is the best platform for your charity. I have a charity that I was doing at the time called Queen of the Universe. It was an international beauty pageant to support women and their charities. With all the proceeds of my charity, I opened my own school in Africa, which was my biggest dream in the planet. And today it's a reality. I have 180 kids in Africa, Senegal.
Wow.
They call me Tata Joyce. I'm Tata Joyce.
What part of Africa?
In Senegal.
Oh, my gosh.
So all the proceeds went to the opening of my school, plus more that my husband had to give because it was. But I literally told them, okay, I will do this show, but you have to promote my charity, the Queen of the Universe. Mm-hmm. And they did, but not to the extent that I expected. They spoke about it, but just blasé, like,
Yeah.
oh, Joyce is doing the queen of the universe. That's it.
Yeah.
And when I saw the edit, we taped so many things. We taped with a wonderful girl from China. She's like one of the baby survivors. She was left alone in a trash can. And she was one of my contestants. She was Miss China. And she was left alone in a trash can because she was a woman. We taped so many empowering things, which is my mission in life.
Right.
I like empowering women. And I thought, you can empower women in a reality show. It doesn't all need to be nasty. Some of these girls are nasty, but you can be empowering and you can be positive. And they didn't air any of it. And when I saw it, I remember I was so pissed off. And when I saw the tagline, I was so pissed off. So I think
Let's talk about the tagline.
From day one, I was fighting with my producers, which I love Doug, but I was fighting with my producers from day one because I was like, guys, you have the authority. No, Bravo chose. And I was like, no. And then I, text Andy. I made like a shit show, and from day one they hated it because they were like, you keep your tagline. I'm like, no, I don't keep my tagline. This is bullshit. I will say on live TV.
Let's say what your tagline was. In Beverly Hills, they say you can never be too young, too thin, or too rich.
Or too honest. It wasn't rich. It was honest.
Oh, it was supposed to be honest?
No, it says, my tagline, if you rewind, it doesn't say rich. It says honest.
Oh.
It says you can never be too young, too thin, or too honest.
Oh.
That's what it says. However, even though I still I do stand by it. It's true. They took it because I said in one of the scenes there was a pillow in Kyle's store. There was a pillow that said you can never be too young, too thin, or too rich, right?
Right.
And I said, yeah, it's true. You can never be too young, too thin, or too rich. I said that in scene with Brandi, by the way, when we were doing a fitting for Kyle's fashion show.
Uh-huh.
And then they said, well, you said it in scene. I said, yeah, but it was in a different context. It's not like my life, like
mantra.
It's not my mantra. It's in a context of a fashion show when you're seeing a pillow. I mean, it's a different thing. And the one I wanted was beauty's only skin deep. It's what's in your heart that matters. That's been my whole mantra. I guess it was too nice for Housewives. And then there was another one, make me cry. I'd rather people make me cry with the truth than make me smile with a lie.
Well, that's pretty good too.
That was my other one. And
have you ever donated it to any other housewife?
I should,
They're
right?
Pretty good.
I should. Instead, the ones that they came up with, because they bring you a list of taglines, the ones that they came up with were, move over, girls. The real queen has arrived. I have a crown to prove it. And I'm like, how disgusting is that? I was like, it's disgusting, it's stupid, and it's not me.
So then how...
They were all about crowns,
So when did you feel like you were pushed into it and agreed to it, or did you literally not know it till you saw a commercial or something?
No, when I taped all the taglines, the producer that was taping the taglines, Chris, tells me, well, this one's kind of nice. Let's just tape it to give them options, but they won't use it. They will go with yours because I think yours is fabulous. And I said, okay, great. Then I'll do it for you because, I mean, I'm a producer. I'm an actress.
Yes, exactly. When you are an actress, I think
you're fooled more.
Or you even so. Or also when you're super naive and they tell you to do something, you're so happy to be, like some of these women that are now super famous, I joke and say they were never even in the high school play.
Well, my thing is, it's not naive. It's that I'm very trustworthy of people.
Right.
I like to trust people until proven wrong. I never walk into a situation bitchy or untrusting. I walk in happy. Like a friend of mine, our mutual friend Tanya, she's like, you're like the freaking sunshine. You're just always walking in happy. And I'm like, it's just the way you should live life. You should walk in happy and trust people because I don't want to lose the love for people.
Yeah.
I've been burned a lot of times, so I'm not naive. I know there's shitty people out there, but I don't want to lose the love of people. I want to.
I also think with your situation, season 4. I mean, this was 2012 or 13, right? Mm-hmm. Or was it that long? Or 16?
I don't know. 4, and they're now in 10.
Right? How old were your kids when you were doing this? That's
so
how you could
little.
figure it out.
They were so little.
So what year was it? Can you figure it out?
I can't. I don't. I
like
think
5 years ago.
I think it was like 5 or 6.
Okay,
5 or 6.
So, and I think that people were not as aware of this machine, even if you watched it. Like now that
I wasn't aware of it.
Yeah, now even the audience is really savvy about it, and now they're starting to break the fourth wall and stuff because it doesn't really work anymore. So I can see why you didn't overly think about, like, I better be really clear about, like, now if someone was going to go on it, I think they would be very...
I would not tape a tagline that I don't want. I would
Right.
say, sorry, no. You think mine is fabulous? Then use it.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't have, from the other girls, I didn't have that backup. Like, even if I was on a show like that now, I would tell the new girl, listen, let me help you through the ropes. You know what I mean? The girls are not helpful through the ropes. The girls all attack, and we see it in every franchise. They just attack the new girl, you know? And at the beginning, the entire show was about attacking me. They toned it down on editing, but I remember I had a meeting with Doug and our other producer, and they were saying, listen, you're stealing the show. They're attacking you, but you're stealing the show, and you're handling it like a pro. And I said, listen, it's not what I signed up for. I didn't think that this is what it was going to be. I mean, this is a bunch of old women playing high school. You know, I was like, this is not cool. I mean, we're all, you know, we should be doing other stuff. And yes, there's drama. I get it. I'm a producer. I get there has to be drama. Hello, in my Latin show, there couldn't be more drama because it's not possible. There has to be drama for the show to be entertaining. But there's certain things that are below the belt. You know, you don't attack families. You don't attack any businesses. There's certain things that are below the belt.
With the tagline, which is interesting, is because, you know, that was a thing that it's like an old-fashioned saying. It was something my mom used to say, you never could be too rich or too thin.
Yeah.
And then when we became aware of eating disorders, like in the 1980s, that saying became not cool anymore and something that you wouldn't want to say. So I want to say, yeah, it was pretty shitty that they had you say that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Were you...
Especially after I called them and made the shit show when they send me the first tape, which is before it airs, of course. It's 2 weeks before airing so that you can do your blog. I remember I said, guys, this is not the tagline I signed up for. I talked to their PR. I talked to Andy. I talked to everyone. I said, this is just a bad start for me because it just sets the wrong tone for me, for the audience, for everything, because this is not what I signed up for. So now I'm pissed off. Now moving forward, I'm going to be taping very, very aware that I can't be myself,
but
that I have to
were you
filter.
still taping? Then weren't you done by taping?
No, we were still taping.
Oh, really?
So
as it aired, you were still taping. That's not the way it is now.
Yes. So I said, it's just a bad, it's a bad taste. It's a bad taste. It's a bad start. I'm really upset. It's just not...
And they just were like, too bad.
They were doing pickups. It wasn't like full taping.
Right.
It was like little scenes here and there because they needed little standalone scenes.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, if we change yours, we would have to change the other ladies that don't like their taglines. And I'm like, I'm sure these women that have been on this show for a long, long time like their taglines because I'm sure they learned from past experiences. And they said no. And then I begged them. I said, can you at least change it and put... In Beverly Hills, they say you can never be too young or too thin. I say you can never be too honest. And they're like, well, that's almost what it says, but no, we can't change it because otherwise we would have to change the other girls. I was so pissed off. I remember my husband said, baby, you're not doing this again. Already from that tagline, he goes, baby, this is it. This is it. And everyone's like, oh, no, you want to be back. You want to be back. And I'm like, yeah. Because you can't quit. They have to fire you per contract. You can't say it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I did? Someone did tell me that. It's like, it's one of those things, like you sign up for, well, how many years are you committing to?
I have no clue. I haven't looked at my
contract. It's not Scientology like a billion years.
It's not like we're going to steal you. I'm sure they can't force anyone.
But it's right. But
in any show, I produce one and you can't force people to tape. You can force them to show up, but they don't need to talk.
Right. So, okay. So interesting. And
by the way, I think if I would have done it now,
knowing
a little bit, I should have done my research because if I would have done it now, knowing a little bit about it, I would have had so much fun.
Yes.
I would have had, I think now that I know reality shows, it can be super fun. It's a great platform. It's, you can learn how to navigate and how to know when some of the women are doing something for the shock value of the show.
Right. Versus
the real life, because it would piss me off that sometimes on camera they would say really mean things and then they come and, how are you? Are you okay? And I'm like, is she bipolar? What is this? Because I'm not used to, it's not two-faced, but sometimes some women do something for shock value of the show.
Yeah.
And I think the audience is very aware of it now, and now the audience gets it. But I didn't get it back then. So I wasn't so into, I didn't know.
Have someone be all like angry because you took their chair at the table. and then go to the bathroom and have them be like, cute outfit,
Yes,
because
and
the
you're
cameras aren't there.
You're like, what's
Yeah.
going on with this person?
Right.
You know, you're like, hello, are you nuts?
Now,
Are you-
did you get any hate from the fans about the tagline?
Oh, yes.
Oh, you did.
That's the one thing that they right away they wrote me like, oh my God, how can you be so woman empowering? We're looking at stuff you've done, and you talk so much about woman empowering and about charity, and you say you can never be too thin. This is bad. People and
Right.
I was like, here we go. And I told my producers, you see, I told you, I knew it. I knew that was gonna be bad.
Right. So let's go through the people. Okay, so you come on, and we've got Lisa Vanderpump.
I like this picture.
I
Cute.
know.
Cute.
I know. This one's really good. They have the dog in there,
I
too.
love it.
So,
Oh, Jiggy.
and this is on youtube.com/Heather McDonald because we're looking at photos. So Lisa Vanderpump, you're still friendly with because I
Yes.
see you
I
at
love
her
her.
charity events,
Yes.
her balls and things
And
like
dinners, and she did my birthday last year. We're very close. I love her.
that. And when she was going through her last year with the Puppygate,
You know,
how did you feel about that?
Well, I know entirely her side,
Mhm.
which I won't talk about right now.
Yeah.
But I do think that in general, and I'm not talking about Lisa because there is a friend code that you always protect, I believe. But I'm talking about life in general. I think when somebody's going through a tough moment in life, she lost her brother, she was going through a lot of stuff.
Yes.
You don't pull them further down. I think that's just despicable. I don't care what history you have, if if you're upset because of a previous season, if you have beef going on, whatever it is, when somebody is down, you don't kick them further down.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Right.
That's all I have to say about the last Puppygate season.
Yes.
Lucygate, was it?
Let's go
Lucy?
down the line. Kim Richards.
Super sweet. I love her.
You
love
guys
her.
never had any issues.
We never had anything. Every time I run into her, she's still the same. I adore her. She's a really, really sweet
And
girl.
did
She
she-
was going through a lot that season. Personally,
So we were aware of, at that point, we were aware that she was recovering.
yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so how was that? Was she doing well at that time?
You
or-
know, I can only talk about how people are with me personally.
Yes.
With me, she was always sweet. She was always respectful. She was very respectful of my husband. My husband liked her too because she was very respectful of him. She was very nice. I can't say anything. We did a couple scenes that they didn't air, and she was always great. Maybe that's why they didn't air them, because we got along so good. They would have aired them if I would have called her bad names or something, but we got along great.
Yeah.
She was
And
very
then
sweet.
what about Kyle?
Kyle, I also got along with in my season, and I love Mauricio. I see him all the time at the golf club. He's great because he's Latino, so I love him.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we got along good.
That's great. Okay. And then we moving on to, let's save her for last, Taylor.
Taylor, I like Taylor. Taylor wasn't in my season.
Oh, she wasn't?
No, she wasn't.
Why is
she
she
was
in this photo.
No, she wasn't in the season. It was Carlton instead of Taylor.
let me find Carlton then.
It was Carlton instead of Taylor.
The witch.
But I love Taylor. Taylor is really
you
sweet.
like the
Look, this
witch?
one. This is the one.
Wait, hold on.
That one.
Okay, let me get that
Yeah.
one up.
Carlton. So anyway, Taylor, I really like
This is
Taylor.
not
I think
good
she's
quality, so we
super
did take
sweet.
This one.
That
I
one.
don't know why this quality is not very good. Anyway, okay, Carlton. Let's talk about Carlton then.
You know, Carlton is a whole different story because Carlton, on camera,
yeah,
we got along. And I remember we filmed a couple things and we spoke and it was great. And then boom comes the first blog and she talks all this shit. And I was like,
what did she say about you?
that when we walked in, I don't know, you have to go back to that blog because I don't remember exactly.
Yeah.
But what she talks all that, and when I read the blog, I'm like, is this the same person that I'm talking to? I mean, what the hell? I remember when the first episode came out, I was in China doing a project. We were doing a water project with UNESCO, the United Nations charity. And I was in China doing this project, and I read the thing online. I read the blog, and I'm like, what? What the hell? I mean, I was like, what is this? And I was so upset because the day I left for China, I was talking with Carlton for like an hour.
Yeah.
How she was telling me how she admired me, how I'm such an amazing woman, how in another life I was a witch because I have a sixth sense and this and this and that.
But she was trying to bring you into
but
the
it was a really nice
Yeah.
conversation. I liked her in that conversation, you know? I was like, how can she be so freaking nice to me for an hour on the phone? And then boom comes the first blog and she's talking all this shit
Do you
about
think
me.
she wanted to recruit you as a witch?
No, I think she just wanted to be relevant in the blog because she wasn't relevant on camera. She wanted to be more relevant in the blog.
Oh, because she only did one season.
Yeah,
as well.
like
Both
me,
of you.
both of us.
And what did you think about her being a witch?
To each their own. She wants to be a witch. Be a witch. It didn't bother me. Didn't bother me.
All right.
Didn't bother me. I know at one point they said Brandi and her were doing like some spell or something. And I was like, okay, you guys serve your witch gods. I serve my one God.
Yeah.
You know, I serve Jesus. Everybody can serve whoever they want
Right,
because
true,
I'm accepting of people. But you serve your God. I have a God that is so powerful that anything you throw at me is just not going to arrive.
Did you ever keep in touch with her after?
No. No, and I've never ever ran into her or seen her.
I think I've seen her like once or twice at something.
I've never.
And I
ever
remember
seen her.
going, you know, I know every show and everything, and so whenever I see a housewife, I'm always like, oh hi, you know, or introduce myself. And I remember just seeing her and going, no. I just was like, I just didn't care. I thought it was so weird. And then with their swinging, and then then they got divorced, and you know, like that's a big shock. But there was something weird with an assistant or something. Didn't they like bone their assistant or something?
They did? Oh my God, I don't know.
I don't know. Or they're too flirty with
That's
their
a new scoop. That's a new juicy scoop for me.
I only saw what I'm seeing, but I remember like either the assistant had to dress up sexy or they had the 4th of July party. I don't know. I just remember thinking, this is weird. And I'm just remembering from when I saw the show. So I'm not saying she did anything with her assistant, but I remember there was like flirty stuff happening, and we know.
Yeah,
that
I remember there was
Brandi,
like flirty stuff with the beautiful blonde assistant. There was something.
Yes, and then she and Brandi made out.
Yes,
you saw that.
Yes.
And okay, so now let's get into the Brandi. Now, Brandi and you did not get along.
No, which was very sad because going into the show, I thought I would get along the most with Brandi because we have a mutual friend. Janelle, and I thought, you know what? She seems like she seems like a nice girl. She's a single mommy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was like, she's a single mommy. She was a model. I think we would get along. And you know, at the beginning, she was like, "Oh, you're beautiful. I'm obsessed with beauty queens." And la la. She was really nice at the beginning, until we had a scene that we taped that they didn't air. Also. This is a lot of juicy scoop you're getting. They didn't air it also. It was at Piloxing, you know, that type of boxing Pilates type of thing.
No,
so
I've never even heard of it.
So it's called Piloxing, and Brandi and I were doing a scene at Piloxing.
Okay.
And she was like, so what did you think about the girls? And la 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 la, like asking me.
Right.
And I was telling her, oh, they were all so nice because they were, you know, at that first party at Kyle's house, everybody was so sweet. I said, oh, this is going to be so much fun. This is a walk in the park. I love it. I'm so happy I'm here. And I was telling her, well, I like them. She starts talking bad about Kim and Kyle and saying, oh, they're the Bitchard sisters. You have to be careful with them. They're horrible. She starts telling me Kim is an alcoholic and Kyle is a conniving bitch. And I'm like, what is your problem?
And this is all on camera.
This is all on camera.
Yeah.
And she starts talking really, really bad about both of them.
Uh-huh.
And on camera, I said, you know what? It's fine that you have your opinion. Save it, because I treat people how they treat me. And so far, both of them have been nothing but sweet. So if that's what you think about them, that's okay. But let's just not talk about it. Let's talk about something else. And she was just kind of like shocked that I cut her off on her, you know, little thing going on camera. And I said, I'm not interested. I like Kyle. I like Kim. I'd rather find out who they are through me. I'm not even watching old seasons because I want to know who they are through me.
Authentically, yeah.
So, you know, I don't want to be jaded. I like them so far, so I don't want you to tell me who to like and who to not like. And she's like, no, team models need to unite. Team models for her was Yolanda, her, and me, because we were the former models. And I'm like, and I remember I was like, no, I like these women. They're all nice. You know, what's wrong with them?
Yeah.
And since then, it was like she, you know, it was like a switch, like let me attack her, attack, attack, attack. And it was always on the attack.
How did you get along with Yolanda?
Yolanda was sweet at the beginning. I liked her until we did a painting. We did like this little thing. No, the painting party was like when we were good again. She was sweet, but she just had like this, I don't know how to say it. There was a moment where, and I can say this freely because it's in the blogs and it's public and it's everywhere. There was a moment when we were taping a scene and she kind of wanted to coerce me into talking bad about Lisa. And I remember I said, listen, she's nice to me. And you like her too, no? You guys spend Christmas at Mohammed's. I've seen that on Instagram and stuff. So why would you say anything bad about her now? No, you can't drink the Kool-Aid, la, 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 la. And I remember I was like, what is, why are they trying to coerce? Because it still hadn't aired anything, so I didn't know what they were up to. I'm like, and she kept yelling, cut. And I was like, I thought they don't cut in a reality show. I thought reality show is real. She kept yelling, cut. We had to start all over again. Kept yelling, cut. We had to start all over again. And I was like, what is this? So with her, I had mixed feelings. I was like, but I did like her. My husband loved her because he's German and they were, so my husband loved her and still loves her. And I think perhaps Yolanda was going through a lot. Looking back, she was going through a lot with her whole Lyme disease and her stuff. She was going through a lot, and maybe she...
Because at that time, she was still with David Foster.
She was with David, who I love.
But I've
run into him a bunch of times.
She was sick, or was she out? Had she said she was sick yet?
She said she was sick.
Oh, okay.
She said she was tired a lot. That's why I had to drive to Malibu to do that scene with her over there.
But did we know she had Lyme disease at that time? Or did she just think she was in a...
we
okay.
knew, yeah.
And
but the next season is when it got...
With the Munchausens.
Yeah, the next season, not my season.
Because Lisa Rinna joined after you.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Now I'm getting it all. And now when someone is doing that, saying cut, aren't the producers and cameramen annoyed that the cast member is doing that?
Somehow they were letting her do it. And I even told the producers, because when I arrived in that scene, I arrived all happy, because it's my first time taping with her and I liked her and my husband.
And you got to go to the Malibu house?
No, we were taping at Tony Taverna's.
Okay, a restaurant?
A restaurant. Uh-huh. And I remember when I arrived all happy, I usually arrive and I give everyone a hug, like your assistant here.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm
right.
like that. I'm very Latina, so I'm very huggy and touchy-feely and stuff. So I arrive and I'm coming to give her a hug and she's like, let's just not talk until camera. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was just, and she went to her table far away and I was like, wah, wah. I was like alone, because I'm driving all happy to meet her, and I'm like, okay, I'll just be on my phone.
No, but that wasn't the first time you met her.
No, that was the first time we were filming.
Can you get a little closer to the mic?
That was the first time we were filming anything together.
Uh-huh.
I had met her at Kyle's initial party, which was that party they did to introduce the new girls. But that was the first time we were filming anything together, alone. Yeah. And then after that, the whole cut, I was just like, what is this? What do you mean cut? And I even told the producer, I didn't know we're allowed to cut. I mean, I didn't know it's a set. I thought this is reality.
And what'd they say to her?
And they were like, come on, let's go again. And then she cut. She's like, you have to say something. And I'm like, I'm not going to say anything about that. It was about the whole hair gate, the hair thing with Lisa.
No, what was the hair thing?
Oh, my God.
I'm trying to remember.
It was because I was fixing Lisa's hair, and Lisa went, it doesn't matter. There's even a GIF about it somewhere. It's funny.
Oh, I remember. And they were trying to make a big deal.
They were trying to make a big deal, and Yolanda wanted to talk about that moment. She's like, tell me about it. And I said, I'm not talking about it. It was nothing. Maybe she had her period. Maybe she was upset. Maybe she, whatever. It was nothing. And she was like, no, you have to talk about it. You have to. And I'm like, listen, I'm not talking about it. It's finished. If you want to talk about it with Brandi, you talk about it with Brandi, but I'm not talking about it.
But now looking back, don't you think the producers probably put her up to that too? Because they have just so many fights to happen.
Absolutely, they put her up to it.
They're just trying to find...
And by the way, the only reason why I brought it up to Lisa, which is the only thing they aired, the only reason why I brought it up to Lisa is because everybody was talking about this hair gate behind Lisa's back. So I said, okay, I'm not going to look back on this show and be the hypocrite that talks to everyone except to the person in matter.
Right.
So I said, Lisa, I have to talk to you because everybody's talking about it. So I want to talk to you. It was nothing. And she goes, what is it? And I'm like, you know, the hair thing. And all the girls started talking about it. And Yolanda talked about it at a lunch. That lunch never aired, by the way. Yolanda talked about it at a lunch. And all the girls are talking about it. So I want to tell you before you watch the show and then say, why didn't you say anything? And then it became like it became like the thing, the stupid hairgate. And that's the only scene they showed, me talking to Lisa instead of...
what was Lisa's reaction like? Yeah,
she was exactly just like I was. She was like,
I don't even remember. She probably doesn't even remember.
She did. She remembered, and she was like, we still joke about it now because I'm always fixing her. I fix all my friends. You know, that's just who I am. And when I'm fixing her, she's like, bugger off. And I'm like, no. And I just hug her. I love her.
Yeah. Okay. And then what was the thing when you guys you went to like Palm Springs or something? Or some place with a pool.
Palm Springs.
And there was something with Brandi. Brandi said something that kind of got her in trouble. Was it that you didn't want to get your hair wet?
No. Brandi said something that if she would say it in this day and age, she would be fried. Back then, somehow she got away with it, but Brandi was extremely racist. Mm-hmm. And I stand by it, and everybody said, no, she's not racist. She screwed a black guy. I said, you know what? Just because you screwed a black guy does not make you not racist. You are a racist, and it's really bad, and I'm not accepting this behavior.
I worked with someone that would say that, that because she slept with black men.
Yeah, I was like...
as if that means anything. Anyway, go on, yeah.
So we were there in the pool, and she kept saying the whole time, which, by the way, it wasn't the only racial remark they made. I'll tell you about it in a little bit, but it was all Brandi, the one making them. We were in the pool, and she says, come on, jump in. And I was like, girls, I don't want to jump in. I don't want to jump in. Stop it with the jump in. I don't want to jump in. No, jump in. I said, no, you guys swim. You do whatever you want, but I'm a grown woman. I decide when I'm going to go in a pool or not. No, jump in. And I tell her, come on, stop it. Look, I don't even swim. I'm not going to go for a swim. I don't even swim. I swim like a puppy dog. You know, when you're saying, which, by the way, I'm not a professional swimmer, but I can swim a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, but I'm not a professional swimmer, you know?
Right.
But I was like, I don't even swim. I swim like a puppy dog, so stop. And she goes, oh, so you're like all those black people. You know, none of them can swim. She goes. And I remember I was like, what? What did you say? And I was just shocked. I mean, that's one of those moments that I wanted to yell, cut. You put yourself together and stop saying that crap. You know what I mean? I was like, what did you just say? And she goes, yeah, so you're black. You know, no, you know, none of my black friends can swim. You're black. And I was like, yes, I'm black. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm black. I'm Spanish, and I'm Indian. Do you have a problem with it? That part they didn't air either. And she was like, well, you know, it's nothing. And I was just like,
but they did air that part about
they only aired a little piece of it when she goes, so you're black. And then they put a confessional. They only aired a tiny. And this I have very clear in my memory because it's one of those few moments that I was like, okay, this is just not cool. You know what I mean? This is just racial behavior, and I'm not cool with it. She was lucky that I'm such a wuss in the sense that when it aired, I should have attacked her on it. Because had I stood up and done all the interviews that they wanted me to do, attacking her on it, she would have...
You mean the confessionals? Like
no,
the interviews?
No, interviews like
press interviews.
Like press interviews.
Oh, okay.
That they wanted me to do, and I declined them all because I said, listen, it was a bad moment for her. Because when it aired, she had already apologized in Puerto Rico. She apologized to me. She said, listen, I'm sorry. I was shitty to you, la, 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 la. The moment it starts airing, she goes on her Twitter to talk all this crap about me. So I was like, what is it with these women? They tell me one thing to my face, and then they go and try. I get it now that they're just trying to make it juicy, you know?
Wait, but was she annoyed with you after because she was trying to say that you were trying to make her look that way?
No, she said she was saying that she's not racist, that it was just a comment. And she went and did her interviews, but they asked me, and the PR girl called and said, listen, there's all these interviews due. And I said, I'm not going to talk about it because if I say what I really want to say, which is, yes, at the time she was being really racist, it's going to make her look bad. And we're in a better place. I don't want to make her look bad. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I did it to not be mean to her. And instead, she was still attacking me and being really mean to me. There was another moment that she was extremely racist as well. We were at Yolanda's house and we were at a dinner, and I was very quiet because I was at a moment where I wasn't getting along with the woman. My father was very sick at the time. He died during the filming of Housewives. He was very sick at the time, and I was just quiet with my husband in a corner. It was that stupid scene where Yolanda put hearts only on Brandi and like the girls she liked.
Oh, that's right.
Stupid. So high school. So it was that stupid thing, and I remember I stayed in the corner, and when I stayed in the corner, with my husband, she goes, I said something, and Brandi goes, you shouldn't even be here. You need to go to Miami where all the Latinas are. You don't need to be here in Beverly Hills. It was every time she could throw like a little racial thing, she would throw it. So, she's a bit of a racist.
And what was the Joyce thing?
It was.
Is your name actually?
Joyce.
It's pronounced, but is it pronounced?
Well, Joyce is a very common name. I mean, there's a lot of Joyces out there.
No, I know.
It's just Joyce.
But what was so it wasn't Joyce.
No, it's just Joyce.
Okay.
She was just making fun of it in Palm Springs because she kept calling me another name. And I said, I'm not going to acknowledge you until you call me by the proper name. And I remember I was saying, okay, I could call her. So in my head, I was like, I could call her so many things right now, but that would just bring me down to her level. Of pettiness and drunk behavior, and that's just not me. I'm not gonna go down to that level, even if they're doing things for shock. Oh, it was that
she's like, you don't look like a Joyce or something, so I'm gonna call you Jacqueline.
No, she literally goes, Joyce is the name of a big fat pig. You don't look like a Joyce. I'm gonna call you Jacqueline. And I said,
oh my God.
And I said, you know how many Joyces there are out there?
I know.
What's wrong with you? I was like, what's wrong with you? She goes, no, I'm going to call you that because Joyce is a big fat. And I was like, God, this woman is but she was so drunk and so wasted.
Now, have you ever ran into her in the last 5 years?
I've seen her at parties, but I don't say hi because I can't be a hypocrite,
Yeah.
Unless, by the way, this is just how I am. Even though she was very mean to me, even though she was very rude, even though she was racist, all this crap she did, if she apologized, call it shame on me, but I'm the type of person that once somebody says sorry, I say, okay, let's move forward. Clean start. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why in Puerto Rico, when she apologized, even though she had already been so mean, I was like, okay, we can move forward. You had bad moments, and we hugged it out, and I thought we were good. Until then, she was rehashing and attacking all over again. I think if she genuinely said, listen, I'm sorry, I admit that I was an ass and that I was racist and this, I would forgive her because life is too short to hold grudges. I don't think of her other than when people like you ask me about her.
Right. And when what was the reunion like? Were you nervous about that before going in? I don't remember.
I wasn't nervous. I'm never nervous talking because I always speak my truth.
Yeah.
I was pissed going into it because after seeing everything and the way they edited and all that stuff, so I was pissed. I went into it. I spoke about my tagline. They aired it. Thank God. Mm-hmm. I begged Doug, please, you guys need to air a tiny piece of that because that's pissed me off. So they aired it when I told Andy that part. And I think it was just very. I didn't feel good in the reunion because I didn't feel like that was a group that I needed to be part of. You know what I mean? So then
How does it work? Did you know at the reunion that you were coming back or hoping that they wouldn't ask you back, or what was your plan?
Well, my husband was like, you're not coming back. And then I remember we went to dinner with Doug once, and Doug is like, well, they want to do this and that. And I'm like, listen, if that was the case, that they want to be empowering and stuff, then I would come back. But if it's for the same thing, I would hate it. Because, I wouldn't want to sign up for the same thing. But if it's that they want to be empowering, that it's going to be more Sex in the City, which is what I thought it was going to be, a cool group of women going through real life drama.
Yeah.
I was like, if it's going to be that, I would totally want to do it. But if it's not that, then no.
But, through the beginning of time of the franchises, they have always lured women saying we're going to focus on your charity or your business or the fact that your child, has this disease or whatever. They do that. And so many times when I've interviewed people, it's like, well, originally it was going to be about the charity scene,
Yep.
And this and that. And then it's like, well, it's people should know now it's not. If it's a housewives thing,
People should do their research. But the problem is a lot of women, like myself,
yes,
they don't do their research because they say, let me go into it fresh with just open eyes so I'm not jaded. You know what I mean? Let me just walk into it, be myself. And it is what it is. You're not $100 bill for everybody to like. It is what it is. You just walk into it, but you're yourself. So a lot of people walk into it like that. I don't think that type of show is the show you should walk into like that. I think that type of show is the show that you should do your research because it can be a phenomenal platform for businesses, for charities. It can be an amazing platform because it has such a beautiful, solid audience, that is very invested in the shows. So it can be the best platform. You just have to walk into it knowing what you're getting. Yeah. And then once you walk into it knowing what you're getting, once you do your proper research and you're smart about it, which I was, and once you do that, you're going to have a great time because if you know what you're getting.
When I talked to your husband at Tanya Thick's party, he said, I was like, we're not doing this again because every night we'd get into bed and it was talking about the show or what happened that day and the stress of it and everything. And I've
it
said
becomes
this,
your life.
Yeah,
it becomes your life
because it is your life. It is your life and your work and
but
your
it's
reputation.
But it's not your life because your life is, at least my life. For a lot of the girls, it's their life because that's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
That's their job and they're focused on that. For me, and a lot of them are not. A lot of them are actresses now. A lot of them are working. A lot of them are doing a lot of stuff. But for me personally, that wasn't my life. I was on a primetime NBC show at the moment. I was doing my Queen of the Universe charity. I was opening up a school in Senegal. I was developing my line. I mean, I'm a mother of 2 amazing boys. I had so much going on. I have a very happy, healthy marriage. So that was like a 1% of my life. You know what I mean?
But what he said was
it
was
over.
stressing.
It stresses you out.
It was
and it takes
draining
over.
your energy is what I'm saying. It
Absolutely.
drains your energy. It drains your mind space because you're
100%.
overly concerned by like, what is this?
Because especially me, because I was like, but baby, how can they be so nice and then they're so bitchy? I mean, I don't. And he was like, baby, because you're just nice to everybody, but you have to take things from who they come and you have to not forget. My whole life, I've been, if you apologize, I forget and we start clean. Instead, I should remember, I should say, okay, she did it once. First time, shame on me. Second time,
So would you ever go back?
No.
Okay.
No.
That's one of the questions. This was a question, but you kind of answered it. Does Lisa really manipulate the cast and pull the strings behind the scenes, or are all the cast members really just jealous? I mean, I think you kind of answered that you're a good friend of hers. You're not going to say anything. I think there was a lot of jealousy there because she's so successful and she had her own show. Anyway, that's me.
I love her.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Do you regret talking about your husband's penis size on TV?
I don't.
Didn't you? You said it was big, right?
I don't regret it. You know why I don't regret it? Because I said it. But let me tell you how
What
it
did
happened.
you say?
Let
Okay,
me tell you how it happened so you can understand. It's not that out of the blue I came out talking about his thing.
Yeah.
It's not like out of the blue I just show up and say, hey, the way it happened, we were at Carlton's lunch and Brandi starts talking about vagina rejuvenation.
Uh-huh.
And then Yolanda says, I would totally do it if David wanted it. So then they go around the table saying who would do it and why, right?
Yeah.
And Lisa says, no, I wouldn't do it. What for? He gets on birthday. Like something funny.
He gets to have it once a year.
Yeah, she said something cute and funny.
My flower being poked by a doctor when I have to have Ken do it on his birthday? I mean, come on.
She said it. She said something funny and cute, like always. And then, so they're all saying if they would do this vagina rejuvenation or not, right? The last one that says it is Kyle. She says, oh my God, I would totally do it. Joyce, would you do it? And I'm like, because I was the only one quiet, not saying anything, right?
Right.
It was my first lunch with the girls.
Right.
It was the first lunch, first taping after that party. So I was just like, whoa, this is a lot of information right now. Vagina rejuvenate. What is, I first of all, I don't need it. My coochie is very, very tight. But what is this? I was thinking in my head.
Mine's tiny like a pierced ear.
Yeah, mine is super tight.
It's so small.
Mine is so tiny. That's why I have problems keeping the kids. I'm so little down there. Yeah. So everyone's talking about it, and I'm just quiet. I'm just like taking it all in. Like, okay, let me study this group because this is a lot.
Yeah.
Like, okay. And I'm letting them talk. And Kyle, who was next to me, Kyle and I were friendly at the moment because we got along well at her party, and I loved Mauricio. She was Joyce, tell me, would you do it? And I said, I don't want to talk about that. And she goes. No, but would you do it? You have to talk about it, Joyce. We're all talking about it. You have to just say, would you do it or would you not? And I'm like, just Kyle, stop it. Because the other girls were talking.
Right.
And I'm like, Kyle, stop it. And I'm like underneath the table, like telling her to stop it. And she's like, no, but tell me, would you do it or would you? And she keeps going and going and going. And I said, well, I can't because if I did that, it wouldn't fit because I'm so little down there. And she goes, and literally they air, oh, I can't because it wouldn't fit. Instead of airing like the conversation that everybody's talking about, I'm the last one.
Yeah.
They air me like out of the blue saying it wouldn't fit. So that's how it looked like. Okay, she just says her husband. And then they kept bringing it up in other scenes like, oh, Joyce said it wouldn't fit because her husband has a big wonka. Yeah. And I'm like, and they kept talking about it. And one day I said, you know what? Yes, it's big. What's your problem? Do you want yours bigger? Do you need one bigger? Yes, he has a big one. And then they aired that only too.
He didn't mind it though, did he?
No, he doesn't care. He doesn't care. First, when he saw it, he was mortified. He was like, baby, that's not you. That's not how you. And I'm like, I know, but I didn't care because they were all talking. They kept pressing.
I mean, at least it's you that's saying it's big and not that it's small. Let's see. How do you think that your storyline would be perceived differently in today's climate? Or do you think that maybe the producers would have steered the cast members away from the mocking of do you
100%.
Yeah.
In today's climate, she would have not gotten away with the racial remarks. They would have not been saying, you're Latina, you need to go back to Miami. They would have not been saying, you're like all the black people that can't swim. They would have not been saying any of that. She would have not been mocking my husband saying that he's fat when he's not. You've seen my husband. He's gorgeous. She only wishes she could get a guy like that. She mocked him the entire time, saying that he was fat. I mean, she would have not been doing a lot of and it aired. So it's not that I'm just saying it and there's no proof. She would have not been saying a lot of the stuff. I don't think in this day and age, in this climate, with the woman empowering movement that we are experiencing, I don't think that would have gone well.
So are you saying, had it happened now, they would have protected her in the show and not aired it? Because in Dallas, Leanne had said
I don't think they would have. I think they probably would have aired it more accurate. I think they would have aired it, and I think I'm not talking about the producers. I'm talking about the audience. The audience would not let her get away with that in this day and age.
Got it. The audience wouldn't let her.
Because I think the audience now is a lot more savvy, and the audience now is very invested to the point where they're like, no. Are you aware of what happened on Dallas with Leanne Locken? No, I don't watch it.
So she, they had a new cast member come who was originally from Mexico, and Leanne, for some reason, they didn't really get along, and in the woman who was Mexican would describe herself as like, well, in Mexico or in the Mexican culture, we do this. So then when Leanne would be annoyed with her and talking about her, she'd be like, I thought she was a big, bad Mexican, and use it in what was perceived derogatory. And they aired it all.
If that was perceived derogatory now, can you imagine how now would be perceived?
Exactly.
You're like all the black people that can't swim, or you are so fat to my husband, or you need to be in Miami with all the Latinas. Imagine how that would be perceived
That's what I'm saying. So I think that, and she, apologized, and even the other cast members at the reunion said, we were shocked that she was saying it, but we thought it would never air. And we really thought that producers would protect her and not air it, but they did air it, and it really became the main storyline of the season.
Wow.
And she just announced she is not coming back.
Wow.
So, I mean, yes, things absolutely,
If it would have been now, it would have been a whole different ballgame. That's what I told you at the beginning of our interview.
People are a lot more woke, as you'd say, and just more aware of it and more aware of what the words and things do to people and why they should, be more conscious of it. So that's, I think you're totally right. Okay. Let's talk about your hair products.
Yes.
So this is your line.
This is just some
I'm
of
very
it. We have a very
excited.
big line. This is just the little goodies that I brought you.
Well, how long ago did you start it?
It's almost 4 years now.
So it did help that you were on the Housewives to get this.
Well,
noticed a little bit.
I won because I won a lot of different pageants. I won Miss Venus International. I was the first spokesmodel undefeated on Star Search, Destination
you did Star
Stardom.
Search.
I did the Destination Stardom in Hawaii.
Oh, wow.
Same producers, Massini's and Byron Allen.
Oh, okay.
And I won. I was undefeated from day one, week after week in that. And I won Best Hair in that, and I won Best Hair and Queen of the Atlantics. All these things that I did back then, I kept winning Best Hair. And then in Housewives, I won Best Hair, again, in the Housewives Awards. And everybody said, what is your secret? What is your secret? And I said, well, I do this little potion, but it's not really a secret. I mix the little things, and other than that, I just use anything that is sulfate-free, paraben-free, phosphate, with all the bad stuff. But there's no secret other than my little potion. They're like, well, what's the little potion? Well, something that my grandma used to do in Puerto Rico in the mountains, because I grew up, and a lot of people don't know this about me because they only know what they saw in Housewives, and they think that every Housewives is extremely rich.
Yeah.
I grew up really poor. I grew up in the mountains of Puerto Rico, not in the glamour side of Puerto Rico, what people imagine, the beach and blah, blah, blah. I grew up running around barefoot in the mountains. We had 2 shoes, one for church and one for school. So it was very humble beginnings. And like I always say, we didn't have a lot of money, but we had all the love in the world. And my grandma would teach me about all these products from Mother Nature. She would pluck from the trees like, oh, the avocado is good. Let's put it on your hair. Oh, aloe, let's put this on your hair. Oh, this is argan. We got to mush it and we got to do this. And I'm like, okay. So I would just do that. I would take baths in her little kitchen sink,
Yeah.
I thought that was like a cool pool. And that's how it all started.
That's awesome.
That's how it all started. And then when they asked me, they said, I got approached and they said, listen, let's bottle your secret. And it all started with my little Pure 4. I don't have it here for you. I have it always in my purse. Let me see. I don't have it here for you because it's sold out, but I have it in my purse. It's this.
What is that?
It's organic. It's the only thing I use in my face.
Oh.
And it's an organic oil. It's the combination of maracuya, moringa, argan, and buriti. So you have all the natural vitamins, antioxidants from Mother Nature. It's not scented or anything because it's 100% organic. So it all started with that. And this became like a huge hit. And everybody said, oh my God, you need to please expand your line. And right now we are the
So this
number
is for
one.
your face, but that's not for your hair.
You can use it. It's an all over. However, I have for the hair another one that is silicone free, but it's made. Look, this one. It's silicone free, and it's my gold serum. It's made.
What do you do? Just
but very little because
while
right
it's
now
dry?
you have while it's dry, or you can use it when it's wet after you. It's new, so you got to make a couple pumps. You just do very little. That's gonna last you forever. You put it on. Smell it. Smell the scent. It's so good.
Oh, it smells so good.
It's so good. It smells like maracuya, which is my favorite fruit on the planet, passion fruit. And then I brought you just some of my goodies. I brought you the volumizing system. This is my new system. Shampoo,
Awesome.
conditioner, and the masks, which we were talking about before. Everybody should mask at
your hair.
least once a week. And then I brought you this. This is my number one seller. Oh, by the way, look at my bag before I tell you about my seller. Do you recognize this? No?
Oh, with that, it's looking like a real bag, but it's clear?
No, so this is Hermes made an expensive plastic bag, literally just like this.
Oh.
And I said, who the hell is going to pay that money for a bag? I'm going to make my own with my own little slogan, which it says beauty's everywhere because beauty's in you. And then XO Joyce. I said, I'm going to make my own and I'm going to give it away. And they were like, what? My husband's like, you're going to, and I said, yeah, that's so wrong that somebody would pay for a plastic bag that amount of money. So I'm going to make my own. So I made my own and I gave it away actually with some goodies inside. So
Awesome.
This is my hair supplement and this is for hair growth. And we have clinical studies and everything. In 90 days, our subjects had almost 35% more hair. And so far, it's the number one. We have, what was it that they told me? I think it was like 160 million caps sold, something like that, just now when I went. So it's the number one. I'm giving it to you. It's a 1 month supply.
I love it. Okay, a couple more juicy questions. I'm going to let you go. Are you friends with Joanna Krupa?
Yes, I love her. Of course, I love her. The baby, I met the baby. So cute. She's
Who did
so
she have the
beautiful.
baby with? She divorced the Polish guy that we saw her with on Real Housewives
He
of
wasn't
Miami.
Polish.
Oh.
He was
No, she was Polish.
Roman. She is
She
Polish.
was Polish. She divorced that guy.
She divorced Roman and now married.
Okay, now
Doug,
she's
and
married.
he's amazing. They're actually, our husbands are very good friends, and her and I are very good friends. I adore her. She's great.
And with your show, the Rica, how do you say it?
Famosa.
Rich and Famous Latina is what it means. You started doing that shortly after
Yes.
Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Yes.
And
I
what
created it. I produced it.
and it was quite popular. So what happened? Why did it only go for 2 seasons?
So no, it didn't. It
Oh,
actually,
sorry.
We actually had almost 10 seasons.
Oh, you had 10?
Yeah, because we shoot 2 seasons a year, contrary to Housewives. So yeah,
And what
we have a lot of
where
seasons.
Where were people able to watch it?
On Estrella. Right now it's on Netflix and Hulu.
Oh,
You can
is.
still watch it on Netflix and Hulu. But it aired on Estrella, and I had the talk show to go along with it. Like, kind of like the Watch What Happens Live. So
okay.
we had the talk show to go along with it, and I did it for a long time. And then I prepared my team, and my team is in place so that I wouldn't have to be doing the day-to-day, because the day-to-day is exhausting. You know, when you have to do a show.
So then you weren't featured on it as much.
I was
towards-
never featured on it.
Oh, you were never
I
on
wasn't
it.
in it.
Oh, you were
I
the
was the producer.
producer.
I produced it. I created it. I cast it. I did everything.
And it went for 10 seasons?
Yeah, it went for quite a lot. And everybody's like, we got to do more. We got to do more. Right now we're deciding if we want to do more. It's just exhausting.
And did you use the same women all those seasons? Or
No,
did you treat it
different
like
women.
Housewives where you...
Like Housewives.
Oh, wow. Okay. Did you date any other famous men before you married your husband that you'd like to talk about?
No.
How did you meet your husband?
Who else did I date? I only dated my husband. Just kidding.
How did you meet him?
We met on a blind date.
A real blind date?
A real blind date.
Are you watching Love is Blind on Netflix?
No, but I saw you post about it, and I said, "Oh my God, I have to watch this." I haven't gotten around to
It's
it, but I have to watch it.
I
I saw you post about it, and I said, "Oh, I got to get that show because I'm always looking for new
my
shows."
husband and I, it was a blind date.
You were?
Yeah.
No. How?
A friend of mine, we shared a male friend, like a platonic friend of mine. I mean, I dated him when I was really young, but then we were just friends. And he's like, you should meet my friend. And I'm like, well, what does he look like? And how tall is he? Because I'm tall. So that was always like the first thing I asked.
You were smart.
And,
Asking good questions.
But, you know, it was so long ago. It wasn't like he could text me a photo or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I just.
How long ago was it?
We met in 99.
Wow.
So wait. Yeah, 99. Right at the beginning of 99. So it's like, yeah, so I do find that interesting because I've said that about dating a lot. Like, I think just being able to see everything, not just even see a photo, that you are able to go on their social media and find out every little thing, what their pet looks like, what their
Yes.
ex-girlfriend looked like.
What they post, what they say, the words they use.
Their
you know?
political, everything you will
Everything,
know
yeah.
before you even talk to them, you know.
Yeah.
And so what was your
So
story?
ours was almost 17 years ago. We've been
Uh-huh.
together that long. And it was, I meet this girl at a Super Bowl party. And when I meet her, she was really nice. She lived in New York. And I said, great, we're bi-coastal. When you come to LA, you can stay in my apartment. When I go to New York, I'll stay in your place. You know, when you just click
Yeah.
as friends. And I said, this girl's great. She calls me like 2 months later, and I'm telling her, oh, are you coming to LA? Because there's this party, there's that. You know, I was modeling and acting and in the scene and going
Yeah.
out almost every day. And she says, no, I'm not coming, but you have to meet the boss of this guy I'm dating. The minute she said the boss of the guy I'm dating, I thought old. You
Yeah.
know? I thought, oh, he's old. He's the boss. He's old. And I was like, well, listen, I don't do blind dates. So when you come back to LA, we'll all do dinner. And she goes, no, I'm not coming to LA because he comes and visits me in New York. So you have to go out with this guy. And I said, no, I don't want, I'm not interested. You don't even know what I like. I mean, we met once. You're not like my closest girlfriend to set up a date, you know, no.
Yeah.
So I kept saying no. She calls me. It took her like a month. She says, listen, I'm going to give the guy your number because he keeps bugging me about it. And you're not calling him. And I said, listen, if you give him my number, you can lose my number because that's breaking the code. You know, I told you not to give the guy my number. So don't give my number. She goes, I'm going to give him the number. She gives him my number. Michael calls me literally for 3 months every single day. Every day. Google wasn't a thing back then. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't. I remember I had a computer that I won in the Miss Puerto Rico, and I had it in a box because I was like, if I take it out too much, it'll go bad. I was like, it'll go bad. I had it in the box, little
Yeah.
me, and I'm like, I got to keep it in the box. I take it out only to print my sides for my auditions, but then I put it back. So there was no Google or none of that stuff back then. Google was like for executives at a bank or at an office, right? He Googled me, so he had seen pictures of me.
Oh, okay.
That's why he was so insistent. So he called me every single day for 3 months, and I kept giving every excuse in the book. Even, I have my period. And he's like, okay. Oh.
You really said that?
I really said that. I kept saying, I have to wash my hair. Oh, I have an audition. Oh, I have to watch a movie. Oh, no, I have girlfriends coming. He kept giving all these, that's so cute. That's my Miss Universe Puerto Rico crown.
Yeah, so
I still have it.
So that's what he was looking at. Okay, go on.
So he kept asking every single day. I kept giving him every excuse in the book. I really liked him on the phone. And I called him my oldie friend. To all my other girls, when we were talking, I'd be like, oh, it's the oldie again. Let me put him on speaker so you guys can hear him. And he has a voice that's very deep, with his German accent. So he gets this, not just from me, but from a lot of people that they say, wow, you're younger than you look. And again, this is 17
younger
years.
than you sound, you mean?
Yeah, you're younger than you sound. You sound very deep and then you see him and he's
So in all these conversations, you didn't ask him how old he was?
Never.
So you're just assuming he's what, 55, 60?
No, I thought he was like 80. Because that voice, I was like, and I remember back then, I was like, if he was at least 45, I would totally go out with him. 17 years ago. He's 45 now. And back then, I was like, if he was at least 45, I would totally go out with him because we have the same interests. We like the same movies. We like the same stuff. But, he's going to be my friend for life. I just don't want to date the guy. And I remember I had a friend that I kept talking to him about. And I'm like, you and Lauren would get along great. I'm going to introduce you to Lauren in the phone, And the day that he fooled me into going on a date, I had the picture of Lauren in my clutch. Because that was...
You were going to sell Lauren. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, he needs to date Lauren, and then he's going to be my friend for life. Because I have a lot of male friends.
So, okay, so you go to the restaurant.
No.
Where do you meet
So
him?
this is how it happened. So he calls me. I'm literally flying back from New York.
Yeah.
And he calls me when I'm in the lounge in New York. I was doing a job there, a commercial. And when I'm in the lounge, he calls me. And I said, well, I'm in the lounge. I'm just going to fly back in a little bit. And he told me he was going to Germany. Mm-hmm. So when I'm entering my apartment, the phone rings and it's my oldie. It's him, right? And I'm like, wow, Lauren is going to love him. How decadent. He's calling me from the plane. Back then, calling from the plane was like, you had to put your credit card. It was like $5 a minute, something like that.
Yes.
Remember? It was like decadent. So I was like, oldie is so decadent. And I'm like, what are you doing calling me from the plane? I'm literally getting home. Oh my God, Lauren is going to love that. And he's like, and he's like, yeah, what are you doing today? And I said, nothing. I'm going to order Chinese and stay home because I'm literally getting into my apartment. He goes, great, I'll pick you up at 8. And it was like 7:30. And I remember I was like, and I was just silent. And he always talks about this because he said it was the longest silence he's ever felt in his life. And I was just silent. And he's like, hello. And I'm like, well, perhaps we should just do a little coffee. Because I used to live Sunset Plaza.
Yes.
So I thought, let's just go to the Coffee Bean right there. It's safe. I can walk home. And he goes, coffee's bullshit. I'll pick you up at 8. And I was like, wow, oldie has cojones. Okay. And I was like, I'll just be really ugly and he won't like me. And then I'll show him Lauren's picture all decked out, right? So I went with no makeup, hair in a bun, big cowboy jeans, flat cowboy boots, like a big T-shirt. I was just like, like very modelly looking like crap. I looked like crap. And I was just, I remember my girlfriend says, just look really bad and then take a good picture of Lauren. So when he sees the picture, he's like, yeah, I want to meet your girlfriend, right? Mm-hmm. So I had nothing in my purse and my clutch because I had just flown in. Yeah. All I had was my cell phone, $20, my credit card, and my driver's license. That's all I had in my clutch, right?
And the photo of Lauren.
And a little rosebud, a little lip gloss, and the photo of Lauren. And I remember when I leave, I'm like, and I'm looking down from my apartment because I always thought I had to live in the top floor like Pretty Woman.
Yeah.
It was like a thing. It's my favorite movie. So I'm looking down from my apartment. And when I look down, I see a big head of hair. And I call my friend and I'm like, holy shit, oldie has a toupee. And she's like... Oh my God, my snorting. Yeah. She's like, oldie has a toupee. And she's like, oh my God, and why are you going to Asia de Cuba? That's like a hot place. Why?
Yes, I remember that place.
She goes, that's embarrassing. Oh my God, abort the mission. Screw Lauren. Don't go meet him. And I'm like, I can't just leave him down there. The poor guy, I feel bad. I mean, he's a really nice guy. I can't do that to him. He's going to be my friend for life. I can't do that. I just morally can't. So I get out of my place, and I remember when I see him, he's standing in front of my building, like waiting for me to walk out of the foyer. And when I open my door, I look at him and literally I go, "You're you?" And he goes, "Finally." I mean, he was super ripped. He had a lot of hair, like very Jim Morrison. Everybody used to compare him to Val Kilmer when he wasn't Jim Morrison.
right.
The Doors. He was and I was really into rock and roll. And he comes with all these rock star stuff, and I'm like all chrome hearted out. And when I see him, I was like, oh my God, screw Lauren. This is the guy of my dreams. I was like, oh my God. I remember I was like, you're you. And I literally, my hair was like up like this in a bun.
Yeah.
And by he put me in the car, all gentleman, like he puts me in the car. And by the time he went around, I was like, hi. I was like, let my hair down at least so I can have something. And I had zero makeup on. So I said, okay, I'll just go to the bathroom. And,
but all you have is that
the rosebud. All I had was the rosebud, the lip gloss, right? So I said, I'll go to the bathroom and I'll beg any girl for Mercy makeup and I'll pay them the $20 that I have. So I was waiting there, and Asia DeCuba was really hot at the time.
Yes, I remember I used to go there. That's
the bathroom
it was in the Mondrian, right?
Yes, and you remember the bathroom was always packed.
Right.
It was impossible for the bathroom to not have a line. The bathroom was packed. Not one girl walked in. And I remember I called my girlfriend.
The bathroom was empty then.
I was in the bathroom empty for like 10 minutes. And I was talking on the phone with my girlfriend who lived in Westwood. And she goes, well, I can come. And I'm like, yeah, the guy's going to think I have like massive diarrhea if I wait for you from Westwood. I mean, I can't wait for you. She goes, give anyone the $20. And I said, trust me, I want to give them the $20. Not one girl's walking in the bathroom. So nobody walked in the bathroom for like 10 minutes. And I said, you know what? Screw it. I will be J-Lo in Waiting for Tonight. Remember that video where she was glowing? Like, I put the rosebud in my whole face.
You just put like the lip stuff all over.
The lip stuff
like,
all over. I was glowing. I looking back, I said, he must have thought, wow, this girl's greasy. But it gave me the confidence to go and feel like I'm J-Lo and Waiting for Tonight.
Oh! That's a great story. And then that was it.
And that was it. Since then, I mean, 2 kids, survived a reality show.
You gotta watch Love is Blind because basically that's what they're doing. They're talking to each other
I love
incessantly, and they choose each other, and they don't know
what they look like.
Well, I mean, I think they know each other's age. I don't know one's like.
So it's not that they're blind?
No.
I thought somehow that they're blind. I thought it's blind. I was like, okay, they're blind. It's so cute.
No, it's like it's really like a blind date, but with phone conversations, which is another thing.
Which is my story with Michael.
Which is another thing that people don't do is talk on the phone. They do all the texting and they do the through the apps and with us and my age too. Everybody I dated, I would talk on the phone for hours with, and it's like so. I think it's really interesting, and
I love it.
And I definitely think like dating is going to start taking these shows are fun to watch, but I think in reality that eventually people are going to go screw all these apps and things.
Yes,
and there's going to be a
connect.
more of
Let's
a market,
connect again.
More of a market for we have to meet in person, or more people setting up people and getting outside of their home and actually talking to them. And even like with kids, that's why I'm like my son my daughter lived in the dorms, but I really want my son to live in the dorms because that's kind of like, otherwise they never leave the house.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's crazy, but that is awesome.
So Michael and our Love is Blind. That's our story. I'm going to watch it tonight.
Well, this was super fun. Thank you so much for my products.
You.
Where can they get your products?
JoyceGiraud.com.
Great.
Or on Evine, but my website has them.
Yeah, might as just go to the website. But
I should make a juicy discount for your.
Oh, we can do that
for your friends. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna tell my team to make it, and then you can.
Yeah,
everyone.
If you can tell me, then we can put it at the top of the show.
I'll tell you.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
This was really fun.
You're so sweet. This is my honorary Latina.
Yes.
Because your dancing moves were awesome.
Right. We had so much fun dancing at Tanya Thick's party. Yeah, you were really good. Thank you.
Thank you.